DJ and PK question up on our Facebook page, appropriately titled DJ and PK. Kelly Poppinga has been named the new BYU defensive coordinator. Is that a good choice? Now, social media, PK, can get a lot of people firing off. They think they're funny. They try to be mean. They swear. They post weird stuff. We all know about it. We've all seen the crazy side. But then we get this from Larry on social media. Kelly Poppinga, I believe, is a great choice to be the defensive coordinator for BYU. He worked under some great coaches during his career. He's a smart guy, and I don't think his coaching philosophy would be that far off from Jay Hill. He's been around Coach Sataki. He's also got Gary Anderson in there he can lean on for help. I think he's more than ready to do this job. Wait a minute. What kind of well-reasoned, rational, thoughtful argument is that?
That's good. I don't know if you can be more than ready. I mean, ready is ready. But I agree 100% that the folks that you've interacted with have left an impression on you that you ought to be able to pick up. And we hear that. All coaches have mentors. And I told my wife this the other day. The coolest thing that Ford Scally did was when the thing was over on Tuesday, he walks over and he hugs Ron McBride. Doesn't shake his hand, walks over right to him, an elderly man now. It's hard for him to be ambulatory. His mind is still there. He's present there to show support for Scally. And what does he do? Walks right over and gives him a hug, right? So Ron McBride has had a profound impact on Morgan Scally, as have several other people. He mentioned his father and all that stuff. So now take it in the case of Kelly Poppinga, right? A football family. We know about his brothers. One played at Utah State. His brother, Psycho Brady, as I called him, played at BYU, played in the NFL, knows football. This kid has got the training. Then he has Jay Hill here for 2 years working side by side. And Jay Hill deserves a ton of credit, which is why Kyle instantly wanted to hire him, of course. Yeah. So whatever Jay Hill established, which was very good, that will rub off on Kelly Poppinga. That's why it was imperative under this circumstance and situation that Kalani looked internally. And this is the choice that he made. I feel very confident that this can continue to the way it's been, to the level of success that they've had, because Poppinga has been a sponge for a number of years, working under Bronco for many years. Bronco is excellent in defending offenses. He knows what to do on that from that perspective, right? A tried and true guy who also was tutored by Rocky Long. I mean, the list goes on. You're going to end up with Adam and Eve go all the way back. They're the first football. Adam was the OC. Eve was the DC. You can trace it back all the way, man, because somebody influenced somebody who influenced somebody. You get the point, and that's where we're at. The time is now for Kelly Poppinga to take over BYU's defense. Plus, he's got a slew of veteran guys who have been there and are retained. They're already there.
It reminds me a little bit, Kalani doing this, of when Kalani got promoted as defensive coordinator at the U. They could have gone a lot of different directions. But there's a guy on the staff who has put in the time, worked under people, held multiple jobs at multiple schools, right? And it was his time, and he was ready to step into it. And, I mean, Kyle was right there, just as Kelly's there and Kalani's right there, Gary's right there. So it's not like you have to do it on your own. I totally buy into the coaching tree theory you're running around with right there. You go through great coaches, and it's hard to find a great coach who didn't work for and was mentored along the way by great coaches. Just in the college football playoff, we got a semifinal game tonight, another one tomorrow, and talking about the influence of Saban on all four teams, on all of them. And you just go back through history, through the decades, and you keep ending up at Paul Brown and George Halas and these legendary names.
I think you go back to Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve.
Yeah. I mean, what were they doing? They're sitting around in the Garden of Eden. They're naked all the time. They got to do something, right? So they probably drew up some plays in football.
Drawing up plays in the dirt.
Yeah. Or in, I don't know. Since it was the Garden of Eden, it was probably lush. Did they have dirt?
Oh. carpeted. The lawn just went
carpeted,
forever.
just natural grass and foliage and all that stuff. Doesn't it sounds like a dreamy place, doesn't it?
It does.
But the point being, you can just go back. I'm sounding like Chris Berman all of a sudden. That you can go back, and this guy influences this guy, and on and on and on. And then you're a combination in the coaching aspect of probably in life too, obviously, but in the coaching aspect, you're plucking from so many different things. And so now you got Kelly Poppinga. Now he's been coaching for a number of years. And away you go. Plus, you got Kalani over there, who's not going to have it be astray by any stretch, right? I mean, this is so you got that too. So yeah, well, I would prefer Jay Hill was going to stay there, but the reality is that Jay Hill was like a mini Urban. The second you hired Urban, you knew he was gone. It's the same thing with Jay Hill. Right? Because you judge and you look at Kalani and the time, they're literally born in the same year, and I think 1975. So with that in mind, you knew that this day was going to come, and you wanted this day from a BYU fan perspective to come sooner than later, because that meant that he was having success. And I could say, yeah, I get what you're saying now. Some people may be screaming at us, yeah, but we thought he'd leave for a head coaching job. I understand that. But Michigan, man, he didn't leave for Arizona or Oregon State or whatever. He left to go to Michigan, man. And I don't see how you turn that down for what he's looking for. And at the very least, if this thing goes well in 2 or 3 years, by the time he's 55, he has an opportunity to be the head coach in Michigan, because you do the timeline. Kyle's 66 years old, right? The max, I would think he goes 5. I don't know. If Kyle re-ups at Michigan, then I've lost all faith in everything. I'll be an absolutely faithless guy in every aspect of life.
Kyle, you're 50. If I'm doing this when I'm 60, shoot me. Man,
yes.
I just go back to what I told you a million times. Retirement's a super personal decision, and he has the right to change his mind. And he had changed his mind before. The fact that he changed his mind multiple times, maybe this year, no, maybe this, no. I think this, no. It just can't be surprising.
I know, but I've had personal discussions with him.
I know you have.
About this, miles away from microphones.
This will sound like a total oxymoron here, but it feels like he told you the truth, even though that isn't what he did. What he told you in that moment was the truth of what he was feeling. But then when he got to the moment, he's like, no, I want to coach football for another year.
Oh, I get it.
I get it.
I absolutely
that
get
he was lying to you or all that. Is just... He's got multiple things pulling at him. I'm
comfortable now because I'm there with him.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave. I want to keep going. I'm still having the time of my life doing this. I get it. I get it completely. That's why I said if he re-ups, I pushed it down another 5 years. So if he's 71, I want to keep doing this. I'm going to lose all faith in whatever anybody tells me. If anybody says to me, PK, I love you, I'm going to say, no, you don't. You don't. I don't believe you. I don't believe anything anymore. If he's coaching anywhere outside of his grandsons in 2031, I've lost it.
Yeah. Well,
I will not believe anything.
You know what he's right about is he's not going to be coaching against Miami and Las Vegas. So there's that.
Well, yeah, and he told me about Arkansas. But even at that, when he told me about Arkansas, because don't they go to Arkansas in 28?
Yeah.
And I can remember him, and I said, well, what are you going to be doing? I'm going to be golfing in Hawaii. And I said, with who? And he said, you. And I said, sweet. But now that's not going to, maybe it happens in the off season, but the point being it was going to happen in the season. And so it's not, and he's most likely going to be, and good for him. And I've got no problem with that. Good for him. That's what he's made his mind up, and he wants to continue to do it. And everybody's got to start somewhere on the trail, right? And Kelly Poppinga started back when at BYU and then moved along, and now it's his time. I told Scally the other day, I said, man, this is your time. This is something that you've literally worked for many, many years. This is your time. I'm really excited for you. I'm happy for you. Everybody's got to have their moment. I can remember, man, I wanted sports radio as bad as anything that I've ever wanted in my life. And I would stop vacations if I got a call and said somebody was out for a week. Could you come in? Yeah, absolutely. I did everything that I possibly could to put myself in that position. And when I finally got a full-time show in '02, I was over the moon. And I thought, I am not going to let this thing slip away. And it almost did. And it almost crushed me, but it didn't. And I stayed with it. And I felt like, man, I got to the point where I earned the right to be behind this microphone. And that's where I'm at with Kelly Poppinga. He's earned the right to be the defensive coordinator at Brigham Young University.
He was the choice, man. This formula has been followed multiple times, whether it was Kalani getting promoted, Morgan getting promoted. Jay Hill took a different path stepping into that kind of role. But it seems like these guys are going down very similar paths, and the success the other three had, it makes me think, man, this formula works. It's a little different, but it's not a lot different. And it'll probably
it's not
work.
a lot different. And you know what? It's also crazy, DJ, is that Kelly Poppinga doesn't even know this, but Kyle Whittingham is a mentor to him. And you may say, what? What are you talking about? Well, who did Kyle mentor? He mentored Jay Hill. And who mentored Kelly? Jay Hill.
Yeah.
So think about it, right?
Yeah. He was actually, when he was sitting in the rooms, he was working with three guys who'd all been defensive coordinator for Kyle. Because it was Gary when they went to the Sugar Bowl, and then Gary got his opportunity to be the head coach of Utah State. That's when Kalani got promoted.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So
Jay wasn't the DC there. He was a special teams coordinator when he was with Kyle. But he was a defensive position coach on the staff.
Oh, yeah. Clearly he was. And so he'll tell you this. I mean, we're not breaking news here. That's one of his guys, right? We understand that. It's funny. Ron McBride we recognize him as the godfather of the modern success of Utah football. Rightly so. He's got his name up there on the stadium. Everything that came his way is deserved because of the work that he did. He put Urban Meyer in position to go do what he did, right? And Urban took it to another level, obviously. Well, from the defensive perspective, a man who died many years ago, Big Fred Whittingham, his influence is still being felt today because he taught Kyle how defenses need to be. And you may say, oh, that's an exaggeration. Bronco Mendenhall's brother, Matt, played at BYU and then played in the NFL. And Bronco once said that Matt told him that Big Fred Whittingham was the best coach he ever had at any level. So it is not an exaggeration, and it's been passed down. And now the mantle has been passed to Kelly. And the more I think about it, the more I'm excited for him to have this opportunity to show all the knowledge that he has gained from all these different sources. As I say, if you'd have to explain to it, if you said off top of your head or just in a conversation, Kelly, man, Kyle Whittingham is one of your mentors. He may say, what are you talking about? And then if you told him that, he would say, I would bet he would say, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And then he takes everything and then he molds it into his own style. I think his brother has been one of his mentors, his older brother, right? That's going to be a situation where, man, Brady's going to chirp at him. That's just the way he is. He can't help himself. And he's got his philosophies on defense. And he played it at the highest level too himself in the NFL. So he'll have all these influences to be able to do it. And then he's got to go ahead and do it. The same thing with Morgan, man. I'm confident Morgan can do it, but Ford got to do it. Ford has to do it right in the moment. And how's that going to turn out? I hope for their sakes, I hope it turns out great. But until you're in that situation, you're not really sure. And we'll see. But the thing about it is both of these dudes have earned the right to be where they are. And that's really cool. I love it when guys pay the price. When I say guys, I'm general neutral here. They've paid the price to be where they're at, and then they have success. That's a cool story no matter who it is.
Coming up after the break, another one bites the dust. Reports now of another NFL coach will be fired and speculation connecting the dots on who's going to get his job. That's next. Stay with us.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
Don't touch that button.
Check this out. Eric Weddle, kind enough to join us.
We need to get back to players that want to be part of our university, that will appreciate what the university can give them. The culture, the buy-in, what Coach Morgan and those guys are going to be emphasizing day in and day out of being great men on and off the field, right? Future leaders, future husbands and fathers. Like, those programs are what I want my son to be a part of. It's not the guys that are money hungry. We're not going to beg people to stay at our university. We're not going to overpay guys because they got other universities that are offering more money. Then if that's the case and you don't appreciate what this school can give you, then good luck, because we're going to be fine. The University of Utah is an amazing school with amazing support, and those who want to be a part of it, let's ride.
It's Hans and Scotty, weekdays from noon to 3. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Slacker Radio Headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 801-210-6800 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Breaking news in the last hour, PK. The Dolphins firing Mike McDaniel after a 7-10 season. They missed the playoffs back-to-back years. Speculation that it won't be long before John Harbaugh is back to work. They're looking for a GM, and one of the finalists is somebody who's worked with both Harbaugh brothers, is currently an assistant GM with the Chargers with Jim. But you can start to connect dots and say, hey, that could all come together. And we know that there was a team that had a coach that reached out about Harbaugh's availability. The agent said 7 teams had reached out, and there's 7 teams with opening, and the Ravens are one of them. And they fired a coach, so I figured it had to be somebody else. Maybe it was Miami. If you want to connect
maybe
dots.
it was, but the good thing is that they'll get a coach in there who will wear real pants during the games. That whatever he was doing there, that was just unacceptable. Bad message. He might be able to get away with that in soccer, but not football.
Not football.
The other thing is they don't have a quarterback.
And he's getting fired for that.
Do you want to step into that? Now, you have to look at the other situations and, and maybe they can get one. I mean, Sean Payton didn't have one, but he got one when he went to Denver, right? And now look at these guys. They're the number 1 seed, I believe, right, in the AFC.
Yep.
And we'll see what Knicks and those guys can do. Sean Payton, he's going to win at an extremely high level. He's already won at a high level at one place. Now they got the possibility of doing it here. Even if it's not this year, they should be back. Doesn't look like they're going to cool off anytime soon. So if I'm John Harbaugh, I take a look at everything because I'm in demand. I'm dealing from a position of strength. I don't necessarily need to go, there's only, what do they got, 30, 32 teams? There's only 32 teams out there. Well, Harbaugh can be picky, even if it means sitting out. Sean Payton did that. He didn't jump right back in. He sat out, picked his spot, away he went. And we'll see what happens there compared to all these other job openings. Because I'm guessing, and this is just a 100% guess, that Harbaugh could pick and choose which one he wants. And do you want to go to Miami? It doesn't look like Tua is the answer, and it seems like he wants out. Now, maybe with the coaching change, that may change. But at the same time, to me, Tua is a poor man's Dak Prescott.
I see where you're going with that. Honestly, I don't see why Harbaugh would be interested in that situation until I heard the story about they're hiring a GM, and there's a GM who's got a relationship with both brothers. It's like, okay, now you're inside the circle of trust. Now, when we jumped radio stations a long time ago, okay, there were some players who we didn't know. There were some players we knew pretty well, and then Scotty G was going to be the program director. Okay, that lands different, right? And I think the same thing, Miami, the GM's going to be, oh, really? Okay, I could see where if the relationship's that good, then all of a sudden Harbaugh almost seems like a no-brainer. It seems like a no-brainer for them and a no-brainer for him.
I had to pull a lot of strings for Scotty to get that job.
You're the man. Way to go. I hope your phone lights up in about 3 seconds.
And fortunately, they listened that this guy was the right, because hardly anybody believed it. And I had to really do a big sell job.
Excellent.
Yeah. You Easier sell, but I still had to push a couple of buttons to make that happen.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
There was-
the word pompous, arrogant, know-it-all, check
There
your
was-
ego at the door, those types of things. That was out there. Still is out there. And I've had to go to work here now with Bonneville to refute that too. And I'm almost completely done with my work.
You had zero pull with check your ego at the door guy. Let's be honest. You had zero pull in
No,
that
not
scenario.
at that time. No, I'm just
Right,
saying
yeah, right.
that further
There was
down
a
the
later
line,
one.
after I established myself
Yeah, there was a
as
later one.
an absolute narcissistic dope, then I had all sorts of influence. I had more than I wanted. People were calling me up, asking me very menial and trivial things. They wanted my opinion and wanted my advice because of the stature that I had reached and the stature that I now claim and own virtually in perpetuity now.
There was a guy who actually really liked you and gave you life advice and almost kicked me one day right in front of you. Never comment on those blinds again.
Yeah, and I told him to, if at first you don't succeed with the kick again.
Again, and again. We've talked a lot of football, not just NFL this morning, but we have also talked. There was one other quote that we had this morning that makes much more sense now. When Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh says, "My brother won't be out of a job very long," you think he knows? You think he's already talked to the Chargers assistant GM who's in Miami? Like, yeah, you're going to get it, and you're going to hire him. You know how that happens? Like, stuff happens, and behind the scenes, you're like, okay, well, you got to let it happen and let these people announce. But you talk to three people, and they're all in the chain of command, and they tell you what's going to happen. You hear stuff. Alema told you once stuff that was going to happen, and you're like,
wants to hear.
Yeah, Alema told you something was going to happen once, and sure enough, it was like 6 months. He said, "This is what's going to happen in 6 months," and then it played out in 6 months. And I wonder if that's what's going with.
Yeah, Alema.
Yeah.
Alema knew my future before I did.
Right. And I wonder if Jim Harbaugh's over there like, oh, I know all this. It's not my place to say anything. But, he'll be back soon.
That can happen. I mean, Barnes, who's now the Tennessee coach, he got fired when men's basketball got fired at Texas. And one of the questions in the press conference was, do you think you'll be out of coaching long? He said, I'll be back sooner than you think.
And it was the next day.
Yeah.
The next day, he lands a big-time job in the SEC.
Right. And he already knew that was going to happen, but he couldn't spill the beans completely, but he gave you insight. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens, obviously, with John. What does he want to do? He's an accomplished coach. 18 years. Wow. In these times, that's just incredible.
Yeah. Lots of double-digit win seasons, 12, 13-win seasons, obviously the Super Bowl championship, so he's been to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, and a kid kicks a field goal, he's in the playoffs today.
Have you seen the meme out there on social media with the goalposts? And in between the goalposts, it says Mike Tomlin gets fired. On either side of the goalpost, it says John Harbaugh gets fired. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have done that in Pittsburgh, but obviously they did it in Baltimore, and so be it. We'll see what Baltimore does. They've got that. None of these jobs have been filled, right?
We're waiting.
So soon. We're only 4 days into it.
Yeah. And Miami, it's been forever since they won a playoff game. I mean, it's like 20 plus years now.
Wow.
So when? I mean, because McDaniel took them. The Jets are the team that hasn't, it's 15 years now since the Jets win the playoffs. But the Dolphins, it's been 25 years. They won an AFC wildcard game in 2000, and they haven't won since.
And you think when they're walking off the field, wow, it's going to be 25 years before we do this again. Nobody's thinking that.
No.
But yet here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, they really had it going there for a while. I mean, they had an awesome Hall of Fame quarterback. They had an awesome head coach. They had 30 years that they couldn't be stopped. And now they've had 25 years, and they can't get anything done in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, it's really hard. You look at what's the Jazz. What was it, 07, the last time they've been in a conference final?
Yes.
You wouldn't have think that we're approaching 20 years on that.
And yet, here we are.
Yeah. Right, and probably going to reach 20 years. I doubt they're going to get there next year.
And they know it because Jay-Z brought it up in a press conference on his own about a year ago. It's like, hey, he was basically going down the line of thing you were quoting earlier about the charge never changes. We got to get better. We got to get to the playoffs. We got to win when we get there. And then he was just like, hey, we haven't been to the conference final. He knew it. He had it all down pat.
Yeah.
It's like a gray cloud following them. He can't wait to break through on that one.
Yeah, me too.
We talk college football today. Poppinga is the defensive coordinator at BYU. It is his turn to step up. Seems like about as smooth a transition, right? You want to promote from within, and they are. Seems about as smooth as transition as you could expect. They also have Sione Boyle will be the assistant head coach and coaching the defensive tackles, and Demario Brown will move from Boise State to BYU and will be the new defensive passing game coordinator. So
yeah, you said Brown, but it's Warren.
Demario Warren. Yeah, I don't know why I said Brown. It says Warren right in front of me. Yeah.
You're getting guys. That's a good thing about it, man. So you look at their defensive back coach. Guys got a lot of experience, man. They're hiring experienced dudes. People want to be a part of this. Everybody wants to be a part of a winner, obviously, but you want to be a part of a thing that people are content, people are happy and satisfied in what they're not. I mean, satisfied in their job, but you have to constantly, especially in sports, you're never really satisfied. I understand that. And the point being is they're content within the framework of what they have available and they feel appreciated. And that's going to lead them to work harder. We've had bosses, in and out of radio, they want to approach things from the threatened standpoint. That's not anything that really ever motivated me. I'm more motivated. I take that back. It has motivated me, but I'm also motivated by, in a sense, love and affirmation. And that's what we talked about Scotty being a manager. And one of the things, oh my gosh, the way he would support you, the touch that he had that made you feel like I want to do everything possible within my ability to make sure I'm paying back the faith that he has in me. And so whatever he's requiring, I'm going to do it. Just tell me, what do you want? I'm there. Count on me every single time because you are showing me the type of love that is motivating me to give my best effort. And I think that's what you've got there with Kalani, has that ability to do that. And guys want to be around him and work for him in that program. And that's a good position to be in.
Yeah, I would prefer to work for that. I get also why some people have to shift gears and go with the yelling and the fear. And I think we've seen that with Jazz. I think Will Hardy has worked really hard, to stay upbeat, stay positive. He knew what he was signing up for. He knew there was going to be a lot of losing and young guys make mistakes and all that. But it gets to a point where it's like, hey, there's got to be some improvement, and he loses it. And then furthermore, when he loses it, he gets better results. So what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line there, and that's part of coaching.
Yeah.
It has really nothing to do with X's and O's. Bronco talks about that a lot as far as, and Pablo's a master at it, man, as good as anybody that I've ever heard listen to talk about it, knowing that I can know all the soccer in the world. Does anybody doubt that Ty Detmer knows football? No, but I mean, it wasn't translating. It's a interesting. Coaching is just a person who has to wear as many hats as possible. And how do you reach players? And I don't believe there's one way that it works. You have to have a touch. And whatever that touch is, it has to be authentic to you. We know Parcells was more of the sarcastic thing. And for whatever reason, that worked. He got the players in there who responded. But at the same time, we see all those clips. He's got to love them up too. And they got to know that, okay, this man has my interest in heart, even though he seems like you-know-what sometimes. So it's a very interesting profession, that's for sure. And so many different ways work. I wouldn't necessarily call the way Majerus did of loving him up. But yet the boy, they sure love the results.
BYU blows out Arizona State 104-76. Utah loses in Colorado. Now those two are going to play on the weekend. The Big 12 is a good league, PK. I don't know that it's as deep as it's been, although the first 4 or 5 teams look really good. But are there a lot of W's built into this for those top 4 or 5 teams?
Well, I mean, give teams a chance. There's some ASU and a couple other teams maybe are at the bottom, but a team like Cincinnati, man, we don't look at them as being a big time threat, but yet they're balling and they're giving teams games, right? So I think it has a little bit more than the ranked teams, but at the same time, that's all you need. You got 4 or 5 ranked teams, you're good to go. And these teams, all these teams right now that are ranked, I believe will be in the NCAA tournament. And then what do they do in the NCAA tournament? If you have some team who gets in the play-in game and loses, it's like, well, so what? It's what the top teams do. It's an SEC football in that way. And you want to be at that stature, and BYU in just a year and a half under Kevin Young remarkably has reached that stature. It's like, okay, we've got to play these games in January and February, but everything that matters is going to be decided and evaluated in March. And the Utes had that under Majerus too. It's like, what are you going to do in March? That's what we're going to remember. I couldn't tell you one freaking game, and I covered them all, that happened in January and February when Majerus was having that final, that phenomenal run. But yet I remember vivid details about what went on in March all those years ago. Same thing here with BYU and some other teams, obviously, in the conference. And that's a real exciting thing in a position to be in.
Hockey fans, wherever you get your podcasts, listen to Dom Moore. He joined us earlier this morning, Utah Mammoth analyst for SCG Media, came on to talk about the outdoor game that is headed to Rice-Eccles Stadium next year, the Winter Classic coming to Utah. He talked about that. He talked about the Olympic break and the team handling that and the players handling that, and this homestand, which will continue on and is opened with a win after they beat Ottawa 3-1 last night. Those are the Slacker Radio headlines. That's what's going on. We're going to take a break. When we come back, your feedback next. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for your feedback. A lot of people reacting to the news about Kelly Poppinga. Dave, I love it. Kelly's going to be an all-timer. He's been groomed by Jay and Gary for this, and he's an elite recruiter to boot. I'm very excited for this choice.
Good. I like it.
Yeah. Poppinga is undefeated in his head. Love you, at eHonk says. So it's a shocker. He hasn't been promoted before. He's a pretty positive, upbeat guy. I don't know if he would be undefeated in his head, but I get why you say that. He's a positive, upbeat guy.
Nah, he realizes they would probably lose to Texas Tech, who I saw yesterday has the number 1 transfer portal class. It's never going to end with those guys.
Big 12 runner-up champs, great choice. Just watching so many defensive starters return is proof of this choice. Kelly is amazing. He is the perfect fit for BYU. Yak, You told us there was some transfer portal news. What is it? And will it update Big 12 runner-up champs' take?
So they have their first portal commitment officially this morning with Kyler Casper. He's a former Oregon Duck, 6'6", 220-pound wide receiver. So I thought he's kind of a like-for-like replacement for Chase Roberts.
We'll see if he's good enough. I mean,
I agree.
Hasn't his stats anyway? I have no idea beyond that. Just who knows? Maybe he's been injured, and maybe this is his opportunity to shine. Nobody was toasting in Tempe when some running back from Sacramento State committed a few years back.
Worked out.
Yeah, slightly.
Good enough.
Barely.
Didn't get in the way.
Not much.
We've got people. We've got Amy weighing in. Go get him, Coach K-Pop. Seems to be very popular. Oh, here's Ben, though. Ben wearing red. Great choice for the rest of the conference.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I would be intrigued to see if the rest of the conference looks at Utah and BYU the way Utah and BYU look at Texas Tech. Those guys have advantages. They're winning a lot. They have more money than us. I wonder what gets said.
I think you have to be sheltered and put blinders on and worry about your own situation, making sure you're maximizing what you have available, and then go from there as far as that goes. And so all these other teams in this conference so far as constituted, they've all had moments. All right. Colorado had a moment a year ago. See if they can get back. They stunk this past season. I get that. But they were pretty good season before. UCF, first time under Scott Frost, was very good. Things have changed. But I think that you have a level. Some have more advantages than others. And money right now apparently is the top advantage. And Campbell is giving it to him with Texas Tech. But I think the others have some stuff that they can promote. And you've got to promote that. And money is a big deal, right? You got to have some of it. There's no question. If you don't have any money, you got no chance. But you even as stacked as the deck is against you, you still have to put in the time and work to get it. TCU got to the final just 3 years ago? 4 years ago? 3 years ago now? So they've all had their moments. And do that. And you want somebody who feels like, okay, I've got these disadvantages, but I'm going to turn them around and make them advantages, and I'm going to get the job done.
We got people weighing in on your Utah Jazz, and they largely loved what they saw last night. Perfect combination. This is what the people want. If the team, Paul says, if the team can compete for all 4 quarters, keep it close enough to have a chance, then I'm pretty happy. They'll eventually start to win some of those games that they're currently losing.
If they can do that, yeah, the premise that you just put out there, absolutely.
Ben, is this the best of both worlds? No. All right, thanks for explaining it to us, Ben.
It is right now.
Yeah. GR says, what's wrong with Kevin Love? What are the Jazz saving him for? Don't want him to go in and hit.
Postseason in 28, 29.
Don't want him to go in and hit like 4 3-pointers and turn the game around. All right, we're about to go. But first, Jock is living in the transfer portal himself.
So
Raleek?
No, Raleek Brown obviously is news out there, but John Gambadoro, obviously working for Arizona Sports down there, just put this out. Breaking news, Arizona State strikes again in the portal, adding Michigan transfer quarterback Mikey Keene, a former Chandler High product who obviously spent time at Fresno State and Michigan.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I think that's they're looking for depth there, and he's going home.
Third school.
I don't think he'll see the field. And Raleek Brown, who was first team All Big 12, I believe he's committed to Sark in Texas as a running back.
All right, DJ and PK, we are all done. Jake and Ben are next, right here on The Zone.